Welcome to the Saratoga Springs Planning Commission for June 25th. First thing on the agenda is we'll start off with the Pledge of Allegiance, and I'll lead that. As soon as the flag comes up, we'll start. Welcome to the Saratoga Springs Planning.
All right,
Pledge allegiance. Okay, so we'll start the pledge now. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Thanks everyone for participating with that. So for the roll call this evening, the only person that we currently have that's not in attendance is Audrey Barton. Commissioner Barton and everyone else is here in attendance. The first item we have is a public hearing for a community plan, major amendment, village plan, major amendment for University of Utah located at Pioneer Crossing and Market Street. And the University of Utah is the applicant, and Sarah Carroll will be giving us that presentation.
Okay. Okay, as you mentioned, this is a community plan amendment and a village plan amendment. This is located on the northeast corner of Market Street and Pioneer Crossing. And the goal here is to increase the acreage from 28 acres to 33 acres and to allocate density to that area. And the new range will be 523,000 to 1,224,000 square feet in phases, and additional studies and standards once the development exceeds 500,000 square feet. Originally, the first phase had 15 acres. The new includes the entire 33 acres in one plan to add flexibility and phasing. The area here is shown. The zoning is planned community and the general plan is planned community mixed use. This is an excerpt from the community plan overview, and it shows the changes. And then this shows proposed phasing. And staff recommends approval with the findings and conditions in the staff report. There are several motions here. So the first motion would be for the community plan, I believe. And then there's a second recommended motion for the village plan with findings and conditions. And then there are alternative motions for both of those.
Okay, is the applicant with us this evening?
Yes.
Apparently not. Oh, you are here?
Yeah, I'm here.
Is there anything you would like to add to the presentation?
No, it's the majority of the document was the same. We were just changing, we're adding those extra acreage, and as you can see, it's doubled in acreage, it's doubled in square footage.
Okay. Could you give your name and address for the record, please?
Yeah, I'm Chris Hupp, and I live in West Jordan.
Do you want to, Chris, sorry, would you just state your business address?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, that
sorry.
works.
The address is 4179 Riverboat Road, Suite 200, Salt Lake City, Utah. And it's Somas, P-S-O-M-A-S.
Okay.
All right, so this is a public hearing. Is there any public comment? We'll open it up for public comment. Did we receive any needs we need to be made aware of, or is there any member of the public in attendance that would like to make comment?
Let me double check and see if we received any.
Okay, thanks.
On that, so. Oops. Apologies for the delay. It does not look as though we have any public comments for this or the next item, and I'll double check on the next item when we get to that as well.
Okay, so I'll go ahead and close public comment for this item, and I'll turn it over to the Planning Commission. Anyone have any questions or comments they'd like to make on this one?
Okay, I do. Can I go ahead? Troy?
Yes, Ken, go ahead, and
All right.
Commissioner Kilgore.
Okay. So just wondering how the applicant responds to the city staff recommendation for the community and village plans and engineering requirements, because there's some, at least in the staff packet that we received, that there were some additional requirements or changes that were recommended. How's the applicant feel about those recommendations?
So I know a lot of those were Gordon's comments, because the situation that the university is in right now is because of the amount of money that they are spending for the COVID relief throughout the state. They weren't in a position to fund an updated traffic study.
Okay.
And that's the major point. And throughout the document, and as Sarah had mentioned, when we go in for the staff approvals and things like that, site plans and all those pieces, we are required to have that updated, and we're fine with that.
Okay, terrific. And since this is an administrative procedure, just want to check that the applicant's agreeable to comply with the conditions of the city planning, engineering, and fire staff in the staff report, or conditions in the staff report.
Yes.
Okay. I just want to make just a typo correction. Let me get to it right here. It's probably pretty clear without it, but just in case. On paragraph 5, it says, oh wait, maybe it was fixed. Changes shall be, never mind. It looks like maybe it was fixed or just got it wrong here. Okay, do you have a question on page, sorry, I go by the staff packet paging, so it's different from the, okay, on page, well, it's the open space part of the community plan. It says here that open space percentage is 10%, while on exhibit 3 of the village plan layout, it says open space percentage of 28.6%. So is the difference between is this the difference between the perimeter and the internal open space? Is that what the difference is?
Yes.
Oh, okay.
The 10% is the perimeter, and then the remaining 18% that we have shown there is what's internal.
Okay.
What page is that, Ken? What page are you on?
Okay, so it's on the community plan. It says open space, and then it says there that it's in the little table 4 at the bottom, the totals. It says open space is 10%, but on exhibit 3 of the village plan layout, it says open space percentage is 28.6%. But it does mention that there could be a difference between the internal and the perimeter. And so I just want to make sure that that's what that difference is. And the applicant has confirmed that. Does that answer your question, Bryce? Commissioner Anderson? Okay. And then there's a mention here that a lot of the secondary, until the secondary water is available in zone 1, culinary water will be used for irrigation. And I was just going to ask the city staff if they knew when would the zone 1 secondary water be developed.
So I wasn't aware of that statement. the consultants have reviewed this from a master planning standpoint. And so that doesn't ring true to me. Secondary water for this zone is in place. Does the applicant know if that's kind of an outdated statement?
Yeah,
As a reference, it's on page 25 and under the secondary water section, under section 6 utility capacities.
Chris, when you say yeah, what do you mean by?
in response to your comment, Gordon, it has been updated with those utility master plans that we were going back and forth with. That has been updated. The culinary is not going to be the irrigation water.
Okay.
Okay, so the statement, the words there need to be updated as well.
So is the applicant okay with that then?
Yes.
Okay, terrific. That's it for me, Commissioner Cunningham.
Thanks, Commissioner Kilgore. Do we have any other comments from the planning commission or questions? Okay, if not, we'll then move on to the motions. I believe we need 2 motions for this. So whoever is going to do it, I guess we could have 1 or 2 people do it. So whoever would like to go ahead and make a motion.
I'll move to forward a positive recommendation to City Council for the University of Utah Community Plan Amendment with the finding and conditions found in this staff packet.
So we have a motion for Commissioner Anderson.
Second? Oh, sorry.
Who had the, sorry, who was that?
Kilgore.
Commissioner Kilgore? Okay. Any question on the motion? Okay, no question on the motion. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Aye. All those opposed, say nay. Looks like that is unanimous. Okay, so we'll go to the second half of this motion. Like to do that?
I also move to forward a positive recommendation to the City Council for the University of Utah Village Plan Amendment with the findings and conditions below in the staff packet.
And I second.
Commissioner Kilgore has the motion, and it was that Commissioner Anderson with the second, I believe.
That's right.
Okay, all those in favor say aye.
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 Aye. Any opposed say nay. Looks like that motion passes unanimously. We'll go ahead and move on to the next item. Next item is a public hearing for, it was continued from June 11th, 2020, amendments to the Land Development Code Title 19.10 Hillside Development. This is city initiated and it will be presented by Sarah Carroll again.
I realized I was muted. Okay, so let me, we have a hillside ordinance right now. It is not functioning the way that we want it to, and it's not accomplishing the things that we want it to do. So we have been actually working for over a year on rewriting that ordinance. So we would like to repeal and replace what's in the code right now. And so what is attached to it is the new version. So what our goals are for this amendment are to establish enforceable regulations for hillside development, establish regulations for vegetation preservation and revegetation, establish grading limits, such as avoiding large cuts and fills and avoiding benching of hillsides, and requiring blending cuts and fills into existing grade without, harsh transitions, and to promote homes that step into the hillside rather than ones that need massive retaining walls and such. So in order to accomplish these goals, we went through a process. We established a committee that included planning, engineering, public works, building, fire, and legal. And we had a whiteboard brainstorming, and we hired a consultant to establish a draft, and then we took it from there. And as a committee, we made multiple edits to the draft, and then we sent it to several developers who have property in hillside areas for their feedback. So we got feedback from DAI, Edge Homes, Sitla, and SCP Fox Hollow. And we reviewed all of that through, again, multiple meetings and made revisions to our draft. And then we had a final legal review, and now we've scheduled the public hearing with the final draft. So with that being said, we would like to recommend that you forward a positive recommendation to the city council. If you have any directions for us, we would like to hear those.
Okay, thanks, Sarah. This is a public hearing, so we'll go ahead and open up for public comment. And since how we didn't receive any earlier, and
That's
David, have we
haven't
still the case? And I'm guessing is there anyone in attendance that would like to make public comment on this? If not, we'll go ahead and close public comment, and I'll now turn this over to the Planning Commission for any questions or comments they have.
I'll just ask a quick question to you, Sarah. The process you talked about of forming these committees and getting feedback from developers, that's what took the year. That was, you said we've been working on this for a year. That process is kind of describing that year-long effort.
It is, right. That's correct.
And my question is, what kind of, this is just curiosity. I'm just curious what kind of helpful insights were given from developers.
We had narrower categories as far as slope goes, so we brought in those categories. They commented on the content as far as vegetation and revegetation, that they wanted to see specifically how that would be reviewed. They commented on some of the grading changes that we proposed, and they commented on some of them have mining areas, and so they wanted provisions in there for man-made slopes. So all of that feedback has been addressed and edits made accordingly.
I have a question.
Commissioner Kilgore, go ahead.
Thank you. This is for the staff, obviously. Is it expected that the required reports will add significantly to the cost of applying for development in our city? How does this requirement compare to those of other cities? If you're aware of, of the comparisons, I just wondered if this is going to add.
Right, we did base our initial draft off of other cities. So we did compare and review several other cities, some that were recommended by Public Works and some that were recommended by engineering, and then also some that I found on my own and that the consultant found. So our code is a conglomeration of what we found in other codes as well. As far as the cost, maybe Gordon could help with that question. So we already require a grading plan. The vegetation plan is something that's new. However, it's something that is beneficial to controlling runoff in particular, but also for keeping established vegetation in place. Gordon, do you have any idea on how that would add to cost for developers?
It's going to add a little bit. So every development already requires a geotechnical report. So in hillside areas, this would add another section to that report addressing slope stability. Yes, that'll cost a little bit more. And then Sarah mentioned the vegetation survey. So yes, these are, they'll add slightly more cost. I'd characterize it as slight, but extremely valuable information and necessary to develop responsibly on a hillside.
Right, and sounds like with the answer, Sarah, to Commissioner Anderson's question, that developers, at least they didn't make a big deal about the additional cost. Maybe they're already doing things like that for other cities as well.
There were some edits that we made. Some of their comments in our earlier version were that we were asking for too much. And so we did make some edits to address that, and balance their comments with the goals of the city in regards to hillside development. And I believe that when they were commenting that what we were asking for was too much was probably related to cost. And so we have scaled back from our initial draft a bit.
And I think those costs were probably more about impact on the project versus actual cost of the studies. So it's very helpful feedback that helped us refine this ordinance such that the impact of the ordinance was not too much.
Okay. All right, thank you. That was a very good answer. I mean, yeah, I'm satisfied with the with the answer and how you answered my questions. Thank you.
Guys, can I ask another question?
Go ahead, Commissioner Anderson.
Is there, so once this code passed and we update this development code, is it such and such a date that certain things need to comply? There's no retro action that takes place for, I don't know, violations or people who aren't compliant with the code as of, July, whatever, 2020. Is that correct? Am I understanding this right?
That is correct. So any current application, this would not apply to. They would already be vested under the previous code. So this would apply to any application that comes after this is passed.
Okay, thanks.
Any other comments or questions from the commission?
This is Commissioner Ryan. I had just a couple of a comment and then a couple quick questions. So I want to just commend the city staff on the collaborative nature of bringing this all together. I appreciated that section that described the process that staff went through. And I love the idea that realizing that this affects more than obviously just planning, that it's involved in public works. There's engineering involved and a lot of things go into this. And then the idea of bringing developers in as well, I thought was a great idea. So oftentimes when you do that, it's like herding cats. And I can understand that, the delay and the time for getting through all of that. But I think what we have here is a polished product in the end. So I appreciate staff on that. I had a couple of questions on the code language itself. I think there's a typo or two. On the first page under purpose, item number 2, the second sentence says no development shall occur on slopes equal or greater than 15%. I think it's supposed to say equal to or greater than.
It is. Yes, thank you. What paragraph was that again?
It's under purpose and then number 2.
Thank you.
And then since I'm on a roll, I'll just keep going here with a couple others that I think I got along the way. On page 4, under item B, slope protection plan and requirements, and then down to item II, 1B, it looks like there's an extra space before they. And then finally on the top of page 5, item number 3, at the end of the sentence, there's a comma and a period. And my one and only goal was to catch typos that maybe Commissioner Kilgore hadn't caught. So hopefully I accomplished that today and I can retire from the commission. Did I do it, Commissioner Kilgore?
Good job.
That's all I have. And again, great job though, all around. I appreciate the greater background on the collaborative nature and also that paragraph that was in here to give a better picture that there was really a lot of groundwork done. So thank you.
Thank you. And thanks for those corrections. We'll get those fixed.
Well, Mr. Chair, I'd like to just mention, Sarah's not going to pat herself on the back, but she deserves a big pat because she showed a lot of leadership and tenacity and persistence to get this thing to where it is. It's been a lot of work, and it's to her credit.
Thanks, Gordon.
Thanks for those comments, Gordon. If we don't have any other comments from anyone, we'll go ahead and I'll entertain a motion.
Yeah, I'll do it. Based upon the evidence and explanations received today, I move to recommend approval to the City Council to repeal and replace section 19.10 of the Land Development Code as attached with the findings and conditions contained in this staff report.
I'll second.
So we have a motion from Commissioner Anderson, and who made the second?
Commissioner Ryan.
Commissioner Ryan seconded the motion. Any question on the motion? Okay, we'll go ahead and all those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Any opposed say nay. Looks like it passed unanimously.
Thanks, Sarah.
Thank you.
Thanks, Sarah. Okay, so the next is reports of action. Do we have any reports of action?
No, we don't have any today.
Commissioner comments? Would any of the commissioners like to make comments? Next item is director's report. Sarah, does David have anything for us for this meeting?
No, we don't have any today.
Okay. I think I missed the approval of minutes.
Minutes.
Whoops. So we'll go ahead and approve the minutes now. Everyone have the opportunity to review the minutes. And if you had any changes, did we get them turned into Nicolette so she could make the changes? All right, I'll entertain a motion for to approve the minutes.
This Commissioner Ryan, I motion that we approve the minutes dated Thursday, June 11th, 2020 from the Planning Commission meeting.
We have a motion by Commissioner Ryan and a second on the motion.
I'll second.
Ken, did you second that?
Yes, sir.
Okay. So a motion by Commissioner Ryan, a second from Commissioner Kilgore. Any question on the motion? Okay, so all those in favor of the motion say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed say nay. Okay, that motion passes unanimously. And unless we have anything else, we'll go ahead and adjourn. Thanks, guys, for everybody attending. And see you next time.
Thank you.
Thanks, Troy.
Bye.
I mean,
Thanks.
man.
Thanks.